I just got back from seeing Captain America Civil War. I walked in with very specific questions. Will this movie succeed where Age of Ultron slipped up? Will it be better than Dawn of Justice? How will Spider-Man and Black Panther be worked in? And will it address the long-standing criticisms that the MCU was given after Phase 2? This is the Justice League, and here is my non-spoiler review of Civil War. Let's get to it. So I want to start by answering the question. Is this an Avengers movie? Is this Avengers 2.5? I'm gonna say no. It does feature the team heavily, and they do play a big part in the movie, but the feel of this movie is definitely going to give you that Winter Soldier, gritty Captain America feeling, as it's mostly shown through his perspective and it deals with him emotionally. So you're gonna get a lot of tugging points, a lot of things that connects you with Captain America. There's moments where he really makes you believe in the cause and you'll follow him. He commands attention. Chris Evans does the role that well. Another concern that people had was, would it slip up like Age of Ultron? Would it follow suit? Where it would end up being a pretty good, fun action movie where the visuals and the fighting is great, but it's so many heroes, it's not really room for anything else, not really room for a grand story or any type of enemy development or things like that. The story is smart, so if you were one of those people that had that worry, you're in the clear. No worries. Civil War does a balancing act, I think not done this good since the first Avengers. Every hero gets their key moments to shine in certain places, and there's a decent amount of character development or furthering for people like Scarlet Witch and the Vision. So it's definitely a step up from Age of Ultron, which I thought was a pretty decent movie. It just had its problems. This movie makes up for those, and it also reaches back and connects to that movie. Okay, next, it has to be brought up. Is Civil War better than Dawn of Justice? Yes, without hesitation. Now, before I get into this, I'm not doing this to make it some Marvel vs. DC thing. These movies are very similar in story. They are both dealing with consequences of having a world full of superheroes and a political fallout that comes after these major standoffs like in Age of Ultron or Man of Steel. And they're even similar down to the point where they are kind of replies to those previous movies. So what separates them mainly is the execution. With Civil War, the story and the tone and the pacing works as one. The action is spread throughout the movie to keep you engaged at all times. And when there isn't any punching and kicking, there's all these little things firing off and happening to keep your head in the game. There's funny moments, there's meaningful character growth at times, and the movie doesn't focus on anything that doesn't really need to be there. Now, if you watched my review to Dawn of Justice, a lot of those things worked against it. The pacing, the shifts in tone, there was a lot of dead spots or out of place moments that don't really have connective tissue from one scene to the next. And that's before we even get to the story itself. So with this topic, it could be its own video. But for now, I'll just say that Captain America Civil War is the superior film. If you haven't seen either yet and you're wondering which one to check out, I definitely have to recommend Civil War. Spidey and Black Panther. Now, I remember when Marvel first announced Civil War and casted Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. At first, he was kind of announced like he was going to be the centralized star and kind of fill that Spider-Man role. Then Marvel announced that they got Spider-Man back, and Black Panther and Spider-Man would kind of share that same space. But since Spider-Man is way more popular, people became worried that Black Panther would kind of get just pushed off to the side. I was one of them. And I'm gonna start off and say to those people, no worries, no sir. They're both everything that we could have wanted them to be. Starting with Black Panther, from the walk to the talk, top to bottom, this is what you want. T'Challa is very royal, he's regal, he carries himself like a king, and he has this charm about him. But then Black Panther it's just magic, and it's just a joy to watch. It's easily one of my favorite parts of the movie on first watch. And like Hawkeye and Widow and even the Vision, he's built into the universe from previous movies, so they don't have to spend too much time explaining why he's there. Now with Spider-Man, like many others, I was happy to hear it when Marvel got the Spider-Man rights back. Well, not the rights, but they could use them in the movies. I knew that they would make it right, and I was right. Its parts in the movie they're very fun as both Peter and Spider-Man. He does get way more time than people think. Like, it's not just the little hairy one. He gets time, so you'll enjoy it. And he's worked in the movie the right way. If you read the Civil War comic, I think it's easy to see which story arc they use to put him in, but it feels right. And I'm gonna just double down on what everyone else has been saying. This is the best Spider-Man we've ever seen. And while I wasn't before, now I couldn't be more hyped for Spider-Man Homecoming. So bravo to Marvel right there. Thumbs up. Spider-Man, yes. Black Panther, yes. Success. They are the movie in my opinion. So yeah, and finishing up my overall takeaway from Civil War, on some level, the writers took all the criticism into account with this movie. Whether it's being that the MCU is too light-toned, or there is never quite any stakes or any weight of loss, these things seem to be addressed in film in a very clever way, especially the latter. The story deals heavily with consequences and making demons from your good intentions, and I think it puts a lot of those detracting arguments against the MCU to bed. Like, after this movie, you can't say some of that stuff. The standout, without a doubt, is the action. I mean, the hype is real. Very well maybe the best superhero action we've ever seen in a movie, and I do not say that lightly. I'm an action movie junkie. On top of being a comic book movie nerd, I'm just an action movie junkie. So when I'm just adding up all the action scenes from superhero movies, this is like top 2. This is it. The scene that you've been hearing about, it is what people say it is. So yes, and I do think that it addresses a lot of the criticisms that Marvel got. I think they done their due diligence and paid attention to the fans and really drove it home on delivering on tone, but still keeping that balance and why everyone loved Marvel movies, and kicked it up action wise, which is what you should do when you're 13 movies in. It shouldn't be more of the same. They should still try to elevate. So, does it live up to the hype? To me, it does. I think it surpasses the first Avengers, Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy as Marvel's best picture. The movie is both thrilling to watch, but it also pulls at you emotionally, and the action is probably some of the best ever seen in a superhero movie. The story is well executed, so it makes what you are seeing make sense, and Black Panther and Spider-Man. With all things considered, the Justice League gives Captain America Civil War an A. Okay, everybody. With that, I'm gonna bring this video to a close. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you are seeing, please subscribe, please share, and please like. You are very appreciated. And yeah, that's it for my non-spoiler synopsis review of the movie. If you saw it, what did you think about it? Please use spoiler tags. I don't want to spoil anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But yeah, what did you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comment section. Until next video, peace.